everybody, I'm Danny Otto. Welcome into an all-new episode of That Recap Show. Now, before we get into the episode, just want to announce, major spoiler alert, we are going to be going over everything that happened in episode 4 of Marvel's Secret Invasion. So if you haven't seen that episode yet, you may want to pause this video, head over to Disney+, check that episode out, and then come back and enjoy the breakdown. Now, with that out of the way, let's start the show.
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.
All right, joining with me to break down everything from episode 4 of Marvel's Secret Invasion, it's Jon Jon Rico.
Hi. How to scroll.
Sure.
Yeah, I had to say hello because it's the audio people. They're probably like, he's not saying anything.
That's exactly what a shirt that a scroll would wear. Just saying.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to make sure that we get Groot into shot because we saw his powers being used this episode.
Almost want a Groot shirt.
Oh. Now, if you had a Super Skrull Groot shirt, that's what you need next.
Oh.
Did I just give new Rockstars a idea for a shirt?
Maybe.
Patent pending. Anyway, episode 4.
Yeah.
I told you this, and I put it right on a rundown. I feel like I can sum up this episode with 2 words.
Holy fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. So much happened. Many things I was not expecting. Mind blown for this episode. I mean, we had things happen that we were pretty sure were going to happen. We had things happen that we were like talking about, hoping were going to happen. And then we had things happen that I did not even know were on the table. And we're going to get into all of them in big takeaways, predictions, everything that we're going to do here. But I don't want to talk over any of your talking points before we get into that kind of stuff. So Rico, what were some of like your initial impressions of this episode?
Yeah, I thought this was a pretty solid episode.
Yeah.
History show that the 4th episode of the Marvel series tend to go just like that little extra step and provide like a nice little spectacle where it's like a big action event or a big reveal. And this definitely has some pretty good stuff to kind of nibble on as far as story content and what what can happen going forward, right? So like kind of right out of the gate, I love that we kind of are answering questions that were asked at the end of last episode, particularly with Gaia. We learned right away that how she survives the events of getting shot by Gravik, and it turns out she used the machine, and now she's herself a Super Skrull, or at least she has the extremist aspects of the whole Super Skrull DNA, right? I'm gonna assume that she has everything else, which makes it a lot more fun. But yeah, definitely what you can do going with her going forward is gonna be a lot more fun to talk about a little bit later on predictions. But I really like how they did this thing where when she woke up, you kind of got these little like blips in the timeline, like from the last episode, like it shows those little pockets of time that we missed, where she would have used the machine. So it's like, okay, this actually makes sense why she would use it then. It's a little bit interesting that the powers took so long to kick in, because I feel like with Gravik they kick in like right away. But obviously, TV suspense is TV suspense, so I'll forgive them there on that one. But yeah, just a lot of more great like spy tension stuff. One-on-one scenes with great actors where you just don't know who to trust, especially when it's either one of your good friends or your wife. And I think that's one of the things that the show has done really well. It's just been like, no matter who it is, you literally have no idea who to trust, and it just adds this like you've been saying every single week, it adds that perfect amount of tension, right? It just feels really tense when you're watching each one of these scenes. And this episode definitely ends on a bang, literally speaking and figuratively speaking. And these last couple episodes are going to be very, very intriguing to watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that in my predictions, which is not really a prediction, but it's just something that I'm thinking kind of is going to need to happen. But before we get there, you want to do some big takeaways?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna get us off with big takeaways. I have a couple. It's nothing groundbreaking, except we fucking knew it. I wish I had like a banner that said it, like a little plane that flew across with a banner.
Yeah.
Rhodey's definitely a skrull. I mean,
Right.
if the phone call at the end of the other episode wasn't enough, basically now we have it in person. He's standing there. What I'm really interested to find out about this aspect of Rhodey being a skrull is how long he's been one. Like that's the next biggest thing about Rhodey being a skrull. Because I mean, that's not the biggest reveal. I still don't think that is our holy shit, that person was a skrull moment, because I've seen that kind of quote going around still.
Right.
I think that was fairly obvious that we were all like expecting Rhodey to be a skrull. So I'm still really wondering who that character is going to be that like we go holy shit. I do have a couple ideas. I did see a couple of videos that made me think of that. But the interesting thing is it kind of goes back to our conversation that we had, I think it was last episode, where depending on how long Rhodey's been a skrull, we could see that being motivation for the real Rhodey in Armor Wars and stuff like that.
Right.
Like if it's post Endgame, you know, it's still interesting, like to find out and everything. But if it's pre Endgame, then there's all the motivation that our real Rhodey would need is when he wakes up and finds out, you know, his best friend Tony made the ultimate sacrifice for everyone and he wasn't even there for it, type of thing. Like there's some really like big effects that can come from, you know, finding out how long. And I'm really interested. I'm really hoping we get a scene where it's Rhodey versus Rhodey. Like I want to see that. I want to see like Fury go in or even Gaia go in and start like waking everyone up type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rhodey just like jumping out and getting his suit of armor and then like finding the impersonator Rhodey type of thing. I want to see Rhodey versus Rhodey face off. But anyway, just a couple other things really quick. I am starting to like the flashbacks more and more. I'm glad we're getting them. Because number one is adding context. We're seeing, you know, how the relationship between Fury and his wife were built so far back and stuff like that. But also, I think the de-aging is really done well in here. I'm not saying it matches up perfectly, but as soon as we got the date of 2012, I instantly in my head was like, "Oh, that's Avengers. That's the time of the first Avengers," and he looked pretty damn close to Fury in Avengers. So I'm really happy about the tech for de-aging basically so far. And you did bring up that, and it's totally true, that, you know, Samuel L. Jackson, the real person, still has to walk like his real age. Like
Yeah, he's still got that old man wobble.
yeah, they're not faking that, but still, like, I mean, it looks pretty good is my point. I just wanted to mention that was just a comment that I typed out to myself when I was watching the episode. Last thing I had to do, I loved that we got another conversation between Fury and Skrull Rhodey. I loved that conversation, but I also, from that conversation, what I really loved is how Fury basically told him exactly what he did. No, it's not poison, but, you know, nanotech tracking devices type of thing. He didn't.
Right.
Like, I thought that was awesome, but like, I think it's there to show that Fury is still there. Like, he is, I think he's playing a part, and I think he's playing as if he's way more hurt and way more past his prime than he really is. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, he is 2012 Nick Fury from the original Avengers, but I'm still saying I think it's proving that he's been playing up how everybody thinks he's really this old broken person and stuff like that. I think he's really playing to that so that people underestimate him. Obviously, you know, Skrull Rhodey did, because I mean, not only in the conversation between the two of them, but the conversation that Skrull Rhodey was having with Fury's wife also. She was, like laying it on really thick that he's a broken guy. He never came back the same. He's probably gonna, kick the bucket soon anyway. I don't need to do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's really like, I feel like everyone is everyone that's on his side, I guess, is helping him play up that he's really more hurt than he really is. And I think that's like, we're seeing little bits and pieces of him really showing that he's still there. He still knows what he's doing. He's still, I don't think he has a complete grasp on the situation because otherwise I don't think we would have had a death of a character that I didn't expect this episode. But I think he's not as broken as everyone is led on to believe. But anyway, like I said, I could go on and on and on. But Rico, what were some of your big takeaways from episode 4?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. The fact that you talked about the whole, like, Fury might possibly like kind of playing on that, he's possibly more like this broken down Fury, and his allies, quote unquote, kind of playing that up to the people around him, especially to like Gravik and to Skrull Rhodey, as you said, also. Um, but I could also see that as like they're right, and that he is also like he hears that and he's like, oh, I gotta prove him wrong type deal, and I gotta kind of step up my game a little bit too, because even Sonia, who was absent from this episode, she's kind of said the same thing about him too. Like, he's very different, and we still don't know exactly whether she's supposed to be friendly or an enemy yet. She kind of teeters on both lines, I feel like. We've seen her do some pretty bad stuff, obviously, to Skrulls, but we still don't know whether she's going to be considered like an ally or an adversary really yet. But to that said, what still one of my favorite things about this show is seeing Sam Jackson have these one-on-one scenes with these, like, again, the other great actors that are in this show. I've talked about like his one-on-one scenes with like Ben Mendelsohn, Olivia Colman. He had a great one with Don Cheadle last episode, or the episode before that. And he has another great one with him in this episode. But in this episode, he has a great one-on-one scene with his wife, Priscilla / Vara. Priscilla is the name of the doctor that she kind of took over. We learn a lot about her backstory in this episode, which really adds to the depth of their relationship. Especially in this great scene where they're having tea together in their home, and he asked her to tell the story about like how he came to like choose her, and they actually developed this really cool bond, where she was like forced to like promise me these 3 things. She names off the 3 promises. And then the last one and ends with, please don't hurt like the man that you're going to fall in love with. Essentially, was going to be the promise that the woman asked of her. And it ends in this great, again, tense is the great word that we've been using all season. And this great tense little face off where they both know what's going to happen, and then they both pull out their guns and shoot beside their head. And I was just like, dang, what a great little like one-on-one, like coffee table standoff, basically between a husband and a wife, but also 2 like kind of high-ranking, I guess, agents in their field, because Vara is pretty well respected within her rank, because when she's working that close to Gravik, she's going from Gravik to Rhodey to her, basically. So that's very, very cool scene. And I gotta give a shout out to the actress Charlene Woodard as the one playing Vara, Priscilla, or whatever you want to call her. But she's been mostly known as like a TV film actress, mostly because has done a lot of soap opera work. And so I was like, okay, I've never seen her before. Why have I not seen her? But she's been working steadily since the 70s. So it's like great TV actors working on like a solid TV show, and you know why she's up there with this caliber of actor. And it was just a really great, powerful scene. And I really enjoyed that. I really like these little one-on-one, like heart-to-heart conversations these characters get to have. Amelia Clark and Ben Mendelsohn have another great one too. Like their one-on-one stuff is pretty good as Talos and Gaia. So yeah, again, great actors pairing off in these little great dialogue scenes, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's really interesting to learn more about the relationship between Fury and his wife, because we find out from the very moment that they met, it was all part of a plan to just be like keeping tabs.
A long game.
Yeah. So it's really interesting, and I don't know if she didn't like him at all at first, and then during this long plan type of thing, this long play, she then started to have like a deep care and love for him,
Mhm.
or if that was from the very start type of thing too. But like obviously, she knows now she's got a target on her back from Gravik for not doing this, but it's worth it to her.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's definitely a love and care between the two of them,
Oh
because
yeah.
neither, I mean, it was proven neither one of them actually shot each other. So
And neither one of them had to confirm it too, because it's that great way they ended off the scene. It was like, I guess we'll never know, and then he just walks off, and you're just
right.
like, dang, that was so good. That's so Fury.
Yeah, I am loving like the little bits here and there from Fury that he's throwing out, and just
Yeah.
I love that we finally have a series where Nick Fury is like the main focus. I think you said this in the past.
Character study on him,
Yeah,
basically, and I love it. Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome. I appreciate all of the different scenes and all of the different kind of I guess just the different levels of conversations that he has. So he can have, he can be really intimidating, but still being really funny. Like we had
Mhm.
in earlier episodes when he was kind of interrogating, and it was still kind of like on a funny level, like with the Louis XIV chair and like all of that kind of stuff. But then he can still like he can actually be, you can see when he gets really angry type of thing and stuff like that. So it's just really interesting him as a character, and just Samuel L. Jackson's acting into it is really well done to have
Oh yeah.
him being the main focus for this entire series. But Rico, you want to get to some predictions?
Let's do it.
Awesome. All right, why don't you kick us off for predictions? I'm really excited for mine, but I'm definitely excited for yours too. I almost think that you need to start yours off with a boom big reveal, because neither one of us have said what happened.
Yeah, yeah, I'll do that for sure. I didn't think our predictions could be somewhat the same, because if I think what you're gonna say is what you're gonna say, we might be playing into the same little
Oh,
idea here too. So yeah, so this episode ends on a big shootout where Skrull Rhodey is with the president of the United States as he arrives in England, and then he's pretty much immediately attacked by Gravik and his convoy, basically. Where Fury and Talos are all there in the battle. They're trying to help out, and there's a couple pretty big reveals that happen in this episode. The first one is that soldiers see a scroll for the first time.
yep.
Because at one point during a shootout, Talos is shot and wounded in the arm, and it causes his shapeshifting to kind of go all into a disarray, and he's kind of stuck in this half form between regular Ben Mendelsohn, and then Talos, like in scroll
Yeah.
form. So that was very interesting. Like, I really love the makeup work on that. First of all, I couldn't tell if it was a blend of like CG and also prosthetics. I imagine it was. But thought that was a really cool way how they were transitioning the way in through his arms and his face and stuff like that. But he's also doing a good deed at the same time, because he's actually Fury is able to get the soldiers to like chill out, and it's like, no, he's helping us out. And then, unfortunately, that same soldier who saw them is ended up used to Gravik's advantage. And we get another boom, big reveal. Gravik stabs Talos and kills him, essentially, leaves him dead.
Yeah.
And that is a massive blow, not just to, the good guys, but to Fury personally. Of course, Gaia just lost her father right there, and she doesn't even know it yet.
Yeah.
So that scene, that like her learning that, is going to be a big thing, like arc for her character, and he's going into these last two episodes. But also the fallout of Gravik killing Talos is going to be like astronomical, because in the episode before this, in that scene between Gravik and Talos, he was telling him like, I'll expose who you are. The enemy will see you coming, and they'll hunt you down like the dogs you are. Well, essentially, what Talos promised Gravik is almost starting to unfold before Gravik's eyes, and it's his own undoing. So I think that's very interesting, because we see that the soldiers see that they were trying to help out the president. So there's good Skrulls, but there's also bad ones trying to infiltrate. So I guess like that their issue is going to be trying to distinguish the two. But also just the fact that like now Gravik can't be really that stealthy going into it, because now people know that they're out there.
Right.
So that's going to be an interesting part of it. And then of course Gaia coming into the play here. the beat between her and Gravik just got much bigger, and I'm just gonna let you take that one kind of from there.
Well, what's funny is I know exactly what you were gonna say, but that was not what I was gonna say.
Okay. So can I keep going with it?
Yeah. Keep
Okay,
going.
perfect. Okay, I thought I was kind of leaning into what you were gonna say here.
No, I know exactly what you're gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah, I was totally not.
I think we're gonna get like a Super Scroll showdown, basically a good Super Scroll versus a bad Super Scroll. We learned now that Guy's got her powers, and now that she learned that her former boss has now basically killed both of her parents. She's gonna go at it, and I had to feel like she's gonna be like our main Super Scroll going forward. Like if she defeats Gravik at the end of this, and then we have like a Super Scroll to kind of go to into the for the MCU going forward, it would have to be her because she's obviously the big name and obviously an intriguing character, someone who can kind of keep Talos's legacy going on. Maybe a little bit too old for like a Young Avengers type deal, but someone who can play into a bigger role going on. Yeah.
Yeah. I was not going there.
I
do
felt like
think
you were going there. I got
no,
that vibe.
I do think there's going to have to be a scene where Fury somehow gets in touch with Gaia, and we're gonna have Gaia on Team Fury, or at least aligning with Team Fury. But what I was kind of getting to is the fact, and this is exactly what I said. I have no idea what's going to happen next, but I think Fury, after the scene where Gravik actually kills Talos in front of Fury, and there's nothing he can do about it. Obviously, the Extremis is healing even faster than he can shoot him. Yeah. So I think in that moment, Fury realizes that he is going to need super help. And Fury does not know that Gaia is a Super Scroll also. So I think besides Fury getting, the president and as many regular people out of that situation, I think Fury's next call is some superhero.
Right.
And it's already been teased that, we could potentially be getting a return of a superhero. I believe it's Quake.
Yes.
But I feel like the next episode, maybe even right off the bat, is Fury's going to get in touch with somebody that he thinks has the power to be able to take on Gravik. Now that he has seen for himself that Gravik cannot be taken down by whatever tools Fury has.
Right. And
like I said, not knowing that Gaia has those powers, I don't think that's going to be his first thought. So when I was putting like someone super, I'm more seeing like who does he have at his disposal? Who could he call? And maybe, because we had Quake on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I realized, we had a big old blow up with S.H.I.E.L.D. because of, Winter Soldier and all of that, and Hydra in there and everything like that. But I've got to think, Quake and Coulson were so close to each other during that series and stuff. And Fury and Coulson are so close to each other. Yeah. So my thought is that like maybe that's somebody he thinks he can trust type of thing. And so maybe that's where we're going to get this like brought into the fold type of thing and this connection. So that's where I was going with it. I'm thinking,
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking Fury's next move is putting something together, some sort of, team together that he thinks can take on. Because the other thing is he doesn't know if it's just Gravik that has the powers or if it is his entire team.
True. Yeah.
Like I know we saw some of them get taken out, so obviously he knows not all of them are, but like maybe 5 of them do, maybe 10 of them do. Like if I'm Fury, and obviously I'm not in the same mindset as Fury, but if I'm thinking, oh shit, I gotta even the playing field as much as I can. Like I gotta make some calls because guns are not going to do it. But that's what I'm thinking. But I do like your end of it too, where I do think it's fitting to have the balance of Gaia on I guess good guys team and
even the playing field.
Yeah, I do like that. I do also think that if Gravik hadn't already thought about it, I think his next action would be to get as many people into that machine as possible, type of thing.
Right. Because, his back's gonna be more against the wall than ever now.
Exactly. So I think it's only a matter of time before he uses it, if he hasn't already used it on other people. I think that's only a matter of time. But yeah, I'm really interested. I can't wait to see next episode. Like, this is one of the things where I was just like, that's it. I want to see what happens next. Like,
Yeah, it feels
already.
like going really fast.
I
Yeah,
know.
sure.
So I'm really excited. And as we always say, that's what we think. Let us know in the comments below. What did you think of episode 4? And, who do you think Fury is going to turn to now that Talos is basically out of the picture? Are we going to get, a calling of, some super friends? I don't know if that's trademarked. Some superheroes. But anyway, and as always, don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to hear about all of our latest audio and video podcast releases. Bye, everybody!
Popping Off presents That Recap Show.